Hey everyone, today we are taking a look at Heart of Night in normal mode from World of Kings. So I'm kind of looking at this backwards, but if you see in front of me, there's a number 1 marker by this log that you can run through. This is where group 1 will go, which are the first 2 columns in your raid frame. Now on the other side of this heart is where we came into the dungeon, and over to the side you'll see a number 2 marker. This number 2 is where group 2 will go. So for us, we use columns 3 and 4 in the raid frame for group number 2. Now, the next line is group number 3. Group number 3 is groups 5 and 6 in the raid frame, and they will go to the 3rd marker. Now, each of these is a path, and you actually want to go all the way to the end of the path in order to start this. Now we do have one extra column of people, and sometimes we don't always have a column, but there is always one or possibly 2 people that are going to go in the portal that's right behind me. This will be the 4th group that I will show you. If you are in the portal group, go over to the portal and click the teleport option, and that will take you inside the portal. Now you can die even before the raid starts, so be careful to move off to the side away from the tornadoes. Inside of here there will be poisonous green puddles and tornadoes, as well as this laser that circulates around the center. Go over to the number 1 marker that corresponds to the marker outside of the portal. You'll be able to see this inside and outside the portal, and just hang out under the logs, avoiding the tornadoes as you go. If you're on the portal team, we will be watching the portal group at the top corner of the screen. If you're in group number 1, you start off at the number 1 marker and just run through the tunnel, and you're going to go around the corner to the circle at the end there. Ignore the circle on the other side. You're just going to go all the way down and around the corner. Group number 1 will be in the top corner. Now I apologize, we started it early because it was our first run for when I recorded this, but it will be in the top corner. Just like group number 1, group number 2, go all the way down to the end and stand at the back where the circles are so that we can start back at the end. Group number 2 will be on the lower left side. And lastly, group number 3 will run all the way to the end and go ahead and stay at the end. Now you'll notice this log here between section 2 and 3. This is a quick way to go between the 2 sections, so that's very helpful during this fight. To start off the fight, one person will approach the heart in the center and click the touch button. For us, we had a member of the portal team do it, and this will start the fight with wave 1. Alright, for wave 1, you're going to get mobs from section 1 and 3. So only those 2 sections will get mobs. You'll see them coming through the portal and coming around, and you have to DPS them down before they reach the heart in the center. At the top inside the portal, you're just going to hang out in the log and avoid those tornadoes until a little bit later on. You'll notice here some people have red text over their head. If you get red text over your head, it's really important to move off to the side. It will drop these purple puddles, and you really don't want to drop them in the center of the path. Next, you'll see there's yellow text over your head. If you get yellow text over your head, stop moving. It's really important because if you continue to move, you will take a lot of damage. Up next is wave 2. Now for wave 2, all 3 areas are getting mobs, so it's important again to have your groups on each of the areas. You'll see red text over people's heads. That means to move it off to the side for the markers. If you see yellow text over your head, make sure to stop moving. If you move, you will take further damage. So continue just to DPS the mobs as they come through. I know there's a lot to see and it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on, but they are 3 different types of mobs. Right now all I see are the small mobs, so it's okay just to DPS them. This raid appears to be on a timer. You'll see there's no mobs in any of the sections. So for adventure and for lower DPS groups, this is good because you still have more time to kill the mobs. If you're a little higher DPS, you're going to be standing around for a few minutes waiting. Now here we're going to continue to do the mechanics of the red text over your head and yellow text as you get it. I'm going to stop here and skip ahead to wave number 3. Alright, for wave 3, only teams 2 and 3 have mobs, so you'll only see them at the bottom. At the top, you will see nothing going on for group number 1. Now, careful, this is a trap because if group number 1 leaves to go help group number 2 and 3, that's okay. But at the top, you'll see very shortly there'll be a wall that appears in this tunnel, and this is the tunnel leading from group 1 out to group 2 and 3. While the groups are killing the mobs outside the portal, inside the portal you need to DPS that wall down until it is gone. Avoid these tornadoes and go ahead and cross to the next section. There'll be a laser that you have to avoid or going around the center, and there's also these tornadoes and the green puddles. So just wait for the laser to pass, and then you're going to cross over to the next section. This is down path number 3, so we're going to follow this 3 marker, go past, and wait kind of over in a safe zone, because the next wall to appear will be in the log area between number 2 and 3. All right, for wave number 4, at frame number 2 down at the bottom, you're going to see this elemental-like kind of creature. He's one of the larger mobs. It's important that the tank interrupt those elemental-like creatures. This is your number 1 job. If you don't interrupt them, it will damage the heart and the health will go down and you'll eventually lose the raid. So make sure if you're a tank, you're going to interrupt that. I always stay at the end, regardless of the wave, to make sure that I'm there as a tank, interrupt those mobs if they spawn. All right, now we have the yellow text, don't move, and we're going to then go ahead and continue to DPS any of the mobs that are left. Here we are have mobs only for sections 1 and 2. Section 3, I wouldn't bother helping quite yet. You will need to assist the other sections. All of the sections need to assist other sections as it gets a little further on. So go ahead and finish DPSing those mobs. If you are in the portal, you're just kind of hanging out inside the log between number 2 and 3. For wave number 5, you're going to have mobs just in path number 2. They are going to be heavier, and you need to make sure to DPS the large ones first. If you see Mind Destroyer mobs, those are the large ones, they give an immune shield to others, so make sure you kill them first. Second are the Corruptors. If you see any Corruptors, you need to interrupt those. That's primarily the job of the tank, so be sure to interrupt those Corruptors if you see them. They're the second priority to take down. Now, while everyone is at path number 2, you're going to get that wall that you just saw for the portal, and you have to make sure to take it down. Otherwise, people are not going to be able to get back over to path 3, which is the next heaviest wave to come. So once all those mobs are down at number 2 and the wall between 2 and 3 is down, the portal people will head over to kind of the end of path number 2, because that is the next most important wall to take down, and it's the last wall that is up. For wave number 6, we're going to have teams 3 and 1. 3 is going to be the heaviest, so 2 will need to cross over to 3 to help out. Make sure again to target the large mobs first and kill them, and interrupt the Corruptors. It is hard enough to move out of the way with the purple puddles and also freeze for the yellow areas. But if you do see that there's share damage, which is starting now, please make sure to share damage. Again, yellow text over your head, make sure to stay still. Now, after this round, the next wave is going to be just number 1. Wave 7 will likely be one of your hardest waves. This one is only section 1. So if you are a DPS, I would highly recommend running over to section 1 to help them. And you'll see a lot of the DPS leaving down below to go off to section 1. For section 2 and 3, I stayed where I was because as a tank, you're going to need to be there. And I found that it's just easier to have a tank there. During this wave, you're going to end up with the wall again. You'll see the message in just a second where it says that the wall of tricks has appeared. And this wall will appear in frame number 1. And this is inside the portal. Here, as you can see the wall, they're going to have to DPS the wall down to break it, and then they can exit the portal afterwards. If you don't have that wall down, when you're all helping group 1, you're going to get stuck in group 1. Here also is these yellow circles up in group 1. You can see, just avoid those, and you have to stay out of them for a couple seconds because it continues to drop like these fireballs and do damage for a few seconds after they disappear. All right, so once this section 1 is done, head to 2 and 3 because those are the last ones and the heaviest. We are now in wave number 8. This is the last wave. If you were at 1, as soon as 1 is under control, start heading to sections 2 and 3. Now, up in 1, we were not because this was the first run and we didn't know, but it is important to go on to sections 2 and 3. 2 will be the heaviest, so go there if you can. Make sure that once that wall is down, the portal team can leave and go out of the portal. Again, if you see any of the large mind destroyers mobs, you want to target them first because they give a shield to everybody, and then the corruptors next because they will damage the heart. Once all the large mobs are down, just go ahead and continue to DPS until everyone is dead, and then it takes a couple seconds for it to realize that your raid is actually completed, but your raid will then be done. Wave 8 is the last. Hopefully you found this helpful. I really appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time. Thank you.